We've got sunspots departing in the southwestern limb. That departure could be accompanied by larger solar flares, like M-class flares, perhaps. We've also got a new series of sunspots recently risen in the northeastern limb. We'll be looking at that a little more in depth and lots more today on the Daily Space Weather. Thanks for tuning in, and congratulations on realizing that the Smash News Network least busted name in news exists. Here's a full disk view. This is some composite imagery from SDO. And we did see some flaring out of both corners, both the northeast and the southwest. If you're wondering why this is called the east, and why this is called the west, it's because space weather rises over here and it sets over there. Here's some more imagery from SDO. That's 24 hours worth. This is yesterday plus today. And this umbra right here larger than the Earth. This umbra down here larger than the Earth. We've got two other sunspot groups here sort of closer to the middle of the solar longitudes. Here is your yesterday plus today a colorized magnetogram. By the way, if you enjoy the content, don't forget to press like and subscribe. Press the share button, leave us a comment, etc. Press subscribe. Do not be an NPC. Press subscribe. Share the videos with your friends and foes. We won't be talking nonsense or propaganda, although we have recently done a product review video here for our latest affiliate/sponsor, Hemp Lucid. If you haven't seen that, check it out. Perhaps some new products available for you there. Check the description for links, as well as the homepage at smashomash.com. Save 30% off everything at the merch shop. Yes, save 30% off of everything. These products listed in order of best selling. Today's featured product is a re-release, one of our first products that we've ever created. It's Smasher Price My First Pandemic. Congratulations on surviving a global pandemic so far. Masking. What do you think about that? How's that working out for you? Has it been working? Has masking prevented a pandemic ever in the history of mankind? Just asking the question, not providing an answer. Because answers are taboo. Yes. Wouldn't want to state facts on a video meant for YouTube. But in any case, get yourself a souvenir in the form of Smasher Price My First Pandemic. If you don't want to wear a mask on your face, wear one on your chest, or perhaps on your miniskirt. Or what about on your hat? Once again, congratulations on surviving a global pandemic so far. You can find links on the homepage to that. It's the Smasho merch link. That'll send you right there. Again, check out our latest links. SureMed and Hemp Lucid there showing up on the right side. And welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. Oh, pardon the lack of fear-mongering on the channel. Just citing a bunch of things that you shouldn't be scared of, like the sun, which is not going to kill you, by the way. Humans might kill you, or they might just grift you. But the sun, not going to kill you. Again, you can find links to Hemp Lucid there on the homepage. Perhaps check out the new Delta 8 gummy cubes. They are potent. We'll be doing a video on that. Probably later in the week, maybe this weekend. If you do purchase products from Hemp Lucid, check it out. If not, check out the testimonials. The most popular is the full spectrum water soluble tincture. Links below the video to Hemp Lucid, as well as on the homepage, again at smashomash.com. Shout out to Hemp Lucid. Thanks for becoming a member of the Smash Team. If you want to support the channel via subscription services, become a member of the Smash Team at smashomash.com/SmashTeam. Drop us a few bucks per month by becoming a gold or silver Smash Team member. If you want to support the channel that way, congratulations. You're increasing the probability that these videos will continue to exist, remain publicly visible, and free for all to view. And you can find our links there on the Smash Team page as well. Just click Posts. You don't even have to be logged in for many of the posts. And for some posts you do, especially the gold and silver exclusive posts. So check that out. There's also a bronze level. We send email alerts for disasters as well. And you can also find the SureMed link on the homepage as well as at smashomash.com/SmashTeam, as well as below this video. SureMed. It's not insurance. It's an association membership with the American Better Health Organization, focused on improving the health of its members. And just as a base member, you'd get all kinds of features like doctors by phone, virtual veterinarians, discounts on vision products, and save a massive amount at the pharmacy. I've done it myself. I saved about 85% when I used the SureMed pharmacy discount. The membership could pay for itself just with that, much less being able to access doctors 24/7 by phone, call in prescriptions, get diagnoses, etc. Get a note if you're calling off of work. Next, it's time to get back to the space weather. None of these volcanoes are ejecting stuff into space, at least not yet. Let's see what their earthly ejections are like. It's lithospheric mass ejections, folks. So today we've got, that must be the White Island volcano there. First on the list is Shiveluch. Not sure if it's erupting. It probably is on the Kamchatka Peninsula. Please don't pole vault the caldera. Bezimiani certainly is erupting, producing a 20,000-foot ash plume, flight level 200. The Alade volcano south of that in the northern Kurils, exploding, flight level 100. It's a 10,000-foot ash plume. Subanosejima, 7,000-foot ash plume. Tal, a 1,000-foot ash plume from Tal, flight level 010. Krakatoa exploding, 2,000-foot ash plume from Krakatoa. And the White Island volcano, still characterized by, quote, only, end quote, venting of gas, steam, and minor ash emissions. So sulfur dioxide reached 217 to 219 tons on October 7th. Let us know in the comments if you think White Island is going to erupt in a more spectacular fashion. Popocatépetl exploding in a more spectacular fashion, producing a 20,000-foot ash plume over central Mexico. Fuego in Guatemala exploding, flight level 150 over Fuego. Sangay in Ecuador exploding, flight level 210. And a flight level 240 as Sabancaya explodes in Peru. It's a 24,000-foot plume of volcanic ash. And let's take a look at seismicity. We have some interesting earthquakes in the past 24 hours. So there's our 90-day bar graph from Volcano Discovery. The first one I would cite is the largest quake of the past 24 hours, which was this 6.4 in the northern portion of the Philippines. There's where that decent-sized quake occurred. It happened at 14:59 yesterday afternoon. That's 14:59 Universal Time. Here's another interesting one. This one's southeast of San Jose. A 5.1 magnitude quake there in California. It is the largest we've seen there in quite some time. That one will have been felt by lots of people in places like, well, San Jose, Oakland, San Francisco, Modesto, etc. Drop us a line if you felt that quake. That one came in at 1842 yesterday, and let's scroll up the list for the past 24 hours. Let us know if we missed anything. A little bit of a quake swarm there at Tonga. No large quakes, although some very deep quakes, such as that 4.8 at over 620 kilometers estimated depth. Remember, folks, any earthquake can be a foreshock. Sometimes we get a warning of a larger quake. If you are in an earthquake-prone zone, have some sort of a plan to be an asset, not a liability. If the power goes out for an extended period of time, etc., don't become a Walking Dead-style zombie. Know which building facades might collapse if you live in an urban area. Japan saw a 5.2. Argentina saw a 5.1. And also Alaska had a 5.0 out there in the nearer Aleutian, the eastern Aleutian Islands. Getting back to space, here's the house favorite wavelength. And thanks for leaving a comment, TinMan1057. Good morning to you as well. This is the 171 angstroms wavelength. That's the last 24 hours. We've only had some C-class intensifications. Don't be surprised to see an M-class intensification. The 10.7 centimeter radio flux now at 116 solar flux units. There's the 1 year graph to put it in context. Solar cycle 25, it's still got a long way to go, a few years before coming out of solar maximum. And there is the Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard. No geomagnetic storm or geomagnetic unrest forecasted here by NOAA. We are expecting a minor CME impact any time now, really, midday today. And there are also additional Earth-directed CMEs. We'll get to it. Yeah, additional Earth-directed CMEs. At the moment, the earthly geospace is quite calm for the past 4 hours. This geospace magnetosphere movie depicts magnetohydrodynamic pressure, modeled in nanopascals. That's the units. Those are the units. Again, that's the last 4 hours, and things quite calm here, geomagnetically speaking. Calm enough that we're going to do a cosmic ray report, which we do at least once a week on the channel. Here's Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. We showed you it from space. Here it is from the ground. And if you were hoping civilization would end, sorry, it's not happening. You see, folks, most people don't want civilization to end because they're busy doing things. Anyway, that's the last 4 hours of Earth's magnetic moment from the ground. And let's take a look at the planetary K-index. Quite low here, pushing KP0. It's only a planetary K-index of 0.33. Practically a KP0. Very weak magnetic field here at the moment. For your new viewers, the planetary K-index is a measurement of global geomagnetism. And let's take a look at cosmic rays. Now, if you've never seen this tool, this is pretty sweet. You can see the correlation here between the DOMB Antarctica, Thule, Mexico City, and Athens cosmic ray monitors. And if you want to go check that out yourself and plot your own graphs, that's the last 30 days. You can see the correlative aspects of this. You can see this, for example, this downtick right here reflected in all 4 of those cosmic ray monitors right there. An indication that the data is not garbage. So this is what the screen looks like. It might look a little bit busy for you, but you just select which cosmic ray monitors you want plotted, and then you click on the number of days and so on. That's really all I changed there, but there are a lot of different features. And if you want to check that out yourself, it's the Neutron Monitor database, which you can find, for example, at the University of Oulu Cosmic Ray Station page. The University of Oulu page, which shows the DOMB, DOMC, and Oulu neutron monitors. So there is DOMB Antarctica, where you can see a slight uptick over the past 30 days. DOMC Antarctica, also a slight uptick over the past 30 days. Oulu, that's Oulu, Finland. A tiny downtick over the past 30 days at Oulu. Let's go a little bit farther south, a lot farther south, to Mexico City. Mexico City almost flat, a tiny downtick over the past 30 days at Mexico City's Cosmic Ray Observatory. Here's Athens. Athens, a slight uptick at Athens, Greece over the past 30 days. At their neutron monitor, and here is Apatity in Barentsburg. So Apatity showing almost perfectly flat over the past 30 days. And Barentsburg, a tiny uptick there at Barentsburg. So that's our cosmic ray report. We show 7 monitors at least once a week on the channel. And let's get to the solar wind. So now you might be freaking out about this, saying, oh my God, the sun is shutting down. What is happening? It's not. That's a switch from the Ace to the Discover. Yeah, wait, that's a switch from the Discover to the Ace. So you can see the Ace showing these very low density, error likely inducing low levels of solar wind. Low density, so very diffuse solar wind being picked up there. And so briefly switching there to the Ace and then back to the Discover is the reason you see that big movement. Not likely to be a real data set there. Anyway, the conditions are about 6 protons per cubic centimeter for the solar wind density, solar wind speed down to 372 kilometers per second. Again, very calm conditions. So here are the GOES magnetometers. Pretty smooth here over the past 3 days. Nothing to write home about there. And there may be a South Pole current sheet headed this way. Don't be surprised to see that snap through anytime soon. At the moment, we don't have very good sensing because you can see all 3 of these lines here. Stereo A, which is this one here. Stereo B out here. And then the Earth line, you can see they're all in the same bit of plasma there. And there could be a prominence out here that's sort of blocking the sensing of that South Pole current sheet. Plasma does align to and obscure magnetic fields. So let's continue on here to look at the line of sight plot. Oh, I would also note that we've got almost the entire north solar polar field pointed at Earth. So you can see this portion of the solar polar field there still remaining at the heliographic north polar region. When you look at the line of sight field plot, you can see all that green there. A huge portion of the north solar polar field there directed right at Earth. Yes, stellar radio jets are pointed in your direction. So here's your line of sight coronal hole plot, and you can see all those North Pole oriented coronal holes there. As we watch the solar cycle progress quite slowly here, especially for the North Polar region. The South Polar field migration ahead of the North Polar field migration. And you know what? Let's pause for station identification here before we take a look at the 211 angstroms wavelength, because I forgot to bring up the Mickey Mouse image. Yes, Mickey Mouse. Is the sun giving the finger to Disney? Are you giving the finger to Disney? Am I giving the finger to Star Wars? Well, probably. Because the advertising has never stopped. Star Wars. Buy action figures, please. Make sure you buy some Darth Vader Band-Aids too, perhaps. So check it out. We've got a Mickey Mouse system of coronal holes here. As you can see there, that is clearly a Mickey Mouse coronal hole. And, yeah. What evil lurks in the depths of coronal holes? Well, streams of protons. Streams of protons are coming out of that. Those are what we'd call solar low-pressure systems. And stellar low-pressure systems are so low that they blast material out into their respective stellar systems, this one being the solar system. So here's the zoomed-out view of this. Great imagery there of some North Pole-oriented coronal holes. That's most of the north solar polar fields there, directed toward Earth at the moment as we watch solar cycle 25 progress. Next, move it to sunspots. Likelihood of large flares goes up with the setting of these groups down here. That's 3126 and 3127. As those approach the limb, they'll be more likely to produce large flares, probably because solar flares are anisotropic. It tells us something about heliophysics. Yes, the likelihood that stars are made of gaseous plasmas may be in question as a result of this. Are you in favor of astrophysics being rewritten? Well, the implications of it are pretty vast. These sunspot groups up here are also capable of producing large flares. There are many polarity umbrae up there mixed in with 3131 and 3133. So here's some fantastic imagery of 3131 and 31 and 3131 and 31 and 33. Two decent sunspot groups there. They're both alpha. They're both beta gamma class at least. Maybe beta gamma delta. We'll let you know at the end of the video about that. Proton flux. The heck? What happened? What happened, folks? All right. Please bear with me. We are experiencing technical difficulties. We've got more imagery of sunspots and magnetic fields for you here. So just bear with me a quick moment. We've got some setting sunspots in the southwest, which we want to show you. Let's do it. There you go. There are those groups setting in the southwest. Most likely places to see large flares are in the southwest and the northeast. Down here and up here. That's your SDO magnetogram for the past 24 hours. And let's move on to solar flaring. So no relativistic particles showing up despite a couple of decent sized flares here. We had a C3.37 and a C3.49, so nearly a C5 there. There were CMEs. Some of them appear to be partially earthly directed. We'll get to it. First, the last 24 hours and 304 angstroms. And you may see some of the ejecta happening here. There were a series of CMEs that went on yesterday, some on the far side, and some headed toward your doorstep. You can see some filamentary motion from down here. Here is the last 24 in 94 angstroms. One of the better wavelengths to view solar flares. And let's continue on here. We don't want the video to be too long. So here's a star chart. If you're up before dawn, you may see Mars. That's what's going on over Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, the location of the Smash News Network, least busted name of news. And here's the solar system situation. Let's do a 1 week forecast. Here's where things will be in a week. We will have a gibbous waxing moon by the 2nd of November. Next, some coronagraphs. Here's yesterday's imagery. And you see this splentacular series of filamentary portions of this CME out here. It's got this great like checkered pattern there. A bunch of different filaments aligning to different magnetic fields as they eject from the corona, giving us insight into the shape of the magnetic fields there as the plasma aligns to the magnetic fields. Always interesting to watch. Certainly some great imagery there from the George Mason University coronagraphs. So that's yesterday. And here's today. And again, folks, there are additional CMEs headed our direction, so we can expect to see those in about 3 days. And here's some more imagery for that. For the purpose of showing that, we'll show L5, where stereo A is located, and L1, where the Soho Lasco C3 is located. Now, we paused this at 15:09 yesterday for the stereo A and 15:42 for the Soho Lasco C3. You're going to see some ejecta here, sort of on all sides of the coronagraph. And if you look at stereo A, you can see some ejecta there, somewhat in the Earth line, and then a bunch of missing data. That's always nice. It's about 5 hours of missing data there. But in any case, you can see material headed sort of in the earthly direction. And then when you look at this, you can deductively reason by looking at the Soho Lasco C3 that some of that ejecta is headed toward Earth. So we can expect another CME here on the 28th, early in the day on the 29th, early to midday on the 29th. You can expect to see a CME impact. A minor one. It's still, once again, pretty diffuse there. Not super well defined. Not very dense. But that's the state of affairs. Let's show yesterday plus today. At least what we have. That's 90 frames from stereo A and 90 frames from the Soho Lasco C3. So we've got some 24-hour videos here also. This will clear things up a little bit. There's the last 24 SDO 304 angstroms, plus Soho Lasco C2 and C3. More splentacular imagery there. Once again, congratulations on realizing the channel exists. It's only the most detailed solar imagery and most comprehensive space weather in the known universe. I would be less of a critic of Elon Musk if he watched the channel and didn't lose Starlink satellites because he launched them into the geomagnetic storms that we forecasted. Lose less millions of dollars next time, Elon. Watch the channel. Again, that's the last 24 hours from SDO and the Soho. Next, looking at filaments. We've got quite a few filaments here on the earthly facing portion of the solar disk. This is the Lermonth ground-based solar observatory showing hydrogen alpha. And you can see a bunch of dark features down here. Those are all filaments. Check this one out. It's pretty recently formed. Yowzers. Recently formed huge filament there. Likelihood of coronal mass ejection is very high as a result of all of those filaments on the Earth-facing portion of the solar disk. Here's the last about 2.5 hours from the GO16 SUVI. We stream it all day on the regs, on the Twitch channel. If you haven't seen it, twitch.tv/smashomash. Install the mobile app. You'll actually see when we go live. Twitch.tv. It's good enough for gamers. It's good enough for streamers. Check it out. Speaking of streamers, that one could have ejected some of that material or it could have just collapsed. It looks like most of it has collapsed back down toward the chromosphere. And let's continue on here to our bonus feature segment. This is the Satellites Community Dashboard. No charging hazard at the moment. It's a free environment there. It's clear sailing for those satellites. Next, the GOES electron flux here remains kind of low. We can expect an uptick from this coming in the next couple of days. And NOAA does indeed tend to agree with that. That's the NOAA forecast for relativistic electrons. There's the 1-year chart from Solon.info for the greater than 2 mega electron volt electron fluence. We're going to show the F ionosphere layer, which is where the GO16 and GO17 make their measurements. We'll show vibrational frequency and anomalygram. So there's the vibrational frequencies occurring in the bridge between Earth and space. Number 1, I order you to take a number 2. Engage. Just kidding, folks. Don't take a number 2 in your pants because of the ionosphere. I would reiterate that the sun is not going to kill you. Terrible decisions by humans might kill you, but the sun, not so much. Here's the anomalygram showing anomaly in megahertz from a 30-day median. Some significant anomalies there over the Western Pacific, over Asia. Really around the equator in general, lots of low-frequency anomalies there. And some around the Southern Ocean. By the way, a little bit of history about the channel. Part of the reason why we cover certain things and not other things is because we realize that there is a niche in the realm of space weather, and that there's a lot of nonsense and a lot of people that don't seem to understand the physics, a lot of people covering space weather who seem to have never taken physics, and it's a little disturbing. And I realize that there's certain things that they're not covering that they ought to, and that comprises a lot of the reason why we're covering what we cover on the channel. So that's part of it. And yeah, I decided to share what I wanted to look at when it came to space weather, and that's why the channel is a thing. Next, we're going to show the total electron content It is the electron count between your GPS satellite and your GPS handset. That satellite located about 12,500 miles of altitude, right in the inner portion of the outer Van Allen belt. So there are the electrons in between the inner portion of the outer Van Allen belt and your handset. Significant GPS anomalies once again here over North America. Can expect large errors there. Turn on your Wi-Fi accuracy to get a little bit better performance from your GPS. And let's move on to the latest intensitygram and colorized magnetogram. So here are the setting groups. There are the fields. It is still beta gamma class. These groups up here are just large and in charge. And those are both beta gamma delta class. So again, with these groups, much larger likelihood of large solar flares. Here's the rock back. This group down here, magnetically complex also. There are the fields and umbrae for that. Whatever the number is. Einstein said, never memorize something you can look up. And I would tend to agree. He must have understood the finite capacity of the human brain. Human brains, not that different from a hard drive. And no, I don't think you're living in a simulation. Here's yesterday plus today in 3 species of ionized iron. Since it's time to move to meteorology, and we've got some very cold temperatures in the Rockies. Here is the sun rising over the Atlantic. And if for some reason you're idiotically thinking that the planet is not croissant-shaped, please leave us a comment. I mean, of course the Earth is croissant-shaped. NASA is manipulating this image to make it look spherical because it's really, there's really a reason for them to make you think the planet is spherical when it's actually croissant-shaped, folks. So I'm here to tell you, it's a major paradigm shift. We hope all of you realize that the Earth is actually croissant-shaped. So here's some more fake CGI imagery where they've manipulated the croissant-shaped planet to look like a sphere. We're looking at temperatures here, and check it out. It is cold in the Rocky Mountains, despite a lot of hot air, crap, nonsense, propaganda, and disinformation coming out of Colorado. Yowzers. Kind of cold in portions of California also Washington, etc. All right, we'll just forget about all of that. Let's find a hot part of the planet. Oh my God, look how hot it is. Look how hot it is down here in southeastern Africa. Oh my God. Oh noes. There's probably a ton of carbon dioxide there. All right, enough of that. Let's go to the winds. So here are the surface winds of the eastern world. We show it daily on the channel. Here are the jet streams of the eastern world. Shout out to our viewers from Unda and from all around the planet. Looks like clear skies over a lot of Australia there as the jet stream is going right over the center of the country. And here are the Americas jet streams. Solid jet streams there over the U.S. as well. Huge S-bend here in the South Pacific. Here are the surface winds of the western world. Surface winds of the central world. Shout out to our viewers from all around the planet. Leave us a comment if you never have before. Tell us where you're located. We're always interested in the weather patterns where you are. those are the jet streams of the central world, places like Africa, Europe, and the Middle East. Here's your weather.gov map. We'll be focusing mostly on the U.S. here for the remainder of the video. Looks like some gale warnings there over Lake Huron and Lake Michigan. High surf advisories? Those are high surf advisories, folks. Gale warnings around Hawaii, though. In any case, if your county is lit, click your county. We can't go over all of that info. That's a little bit too many alerts. So let's take a look at some forecasts. Here's your temperature anomaly forecast. We've got some very warm temperatures coming to the northeast and some very cold temperatures coming to Texas and the Gulf Coast. That's a 72-hour GFS temperature anomaly forecast based on the degrees Celsius. And here's your pressure and precipitation forecast based on that same model. The snow is about to subside here in the next 3 days. But a bunch of snow having fallen in October. Some snow has even fallen in Indiana, I think like 3 inches already received in Indiana. Once again, that's your 72-hour GFS pressure and precipitation forecast. Expecting some severe weather to develop around the Texas and Louisiana coasts in about 3 days. Next, you might see some water spouts. Here's your temperature, and let's switch to snow depth to see how things will finally get set up here. There is the 3-day forecast for snow depth based on the European model. Quite a lot of snow there over the western portion of the U.S. Continuing on to our NASA GOES lightning mapper. And things have been pretty calm here over the U.S. as far as lightning. Let's see if we have any terrestrial strikes, and it looks like not so much. Off the coast of Tallahassee, Apalachicola, there is some thunder offshore. Next time you hear thunder, check it out, lightningmaps.org. It could save your bacon. What do we have here? We're going to have a bunch of Arabic writing that I can't understand. Looks like some Israeli lightning happening there. Probably just the Illuminati and directed energy weapons. Pardon my sarcasm. Next, we're going to look at the U.S. Doppler radar map, ground-based system showing vertical motion of water droplets. There is the full 50 states of AUSA, the allegedly United States of America, and we'll focus on the lower 48 here. Actually, let's take a look at Alaska. There's some heavy precipitation happening there. Some of it is indeed in the form of snow. There's the lower 48. How about clouds and fog? It's 3.9 nanometer radiation. And how about water vapor? Interesting system here. You can see a huge pressure gradient forming as some dry mass of air is pushing to the north, helping to move that low up into Canada. And here's your recap to close things out. U.S. Doppler radar map. Clouds and fog from the Interactive Weather Satellite Suite. 3.9 nanometer infrared radiation. And last but not least, water vapor. We hope that clears things up. We hope you understand atmospheric physics and maybe even some astrophysics. In any case, thanks for tuning in to the Smash News Network, least busted name of news. I've been your host, Dan, a.k.a. Smash-O-Mash, signing off. And may that solar wind be at your back. Opinions expressed in this video, not necessarily the opinions of Smash News Network, least busted name in news.